Hi guys, this is Pestily and welcome to another Escape from Tarkov video. Today I am talking about everything that's happened over the last week of the wipe, going from all the things that we discovered in the patch, all the issues, teething issues, and I'll break it down so you can get your own opinion or my opinion on what's been going on. So, without further ado, let's crack straight into it. Alright, starting off with the actual wipe itself and the teething problems that come with it. So generally when there's a wipe with Escape from Tarkov, there's usually a lot of server issues and bugs that come along with a major patch. And then they spend the next month or two fixing all those bugs that were introduced with the patch. Some of them are reoccurring from previous patches, and then some of them are new. So just understand that that usually is a common occurrence. The one thing I would say is the actual service didn't really go down much at all during the last week, which is probably the first wipe in about 2-3 years that's had that. There was maybe a small period where the launcher wasn't working. But overall, the actual game has stayed up for the majority of the time. That doesn't mean there wasn't a lot of issues that had been arised. A lot of actual tasks weren't able to be handed in. For example, the gas analyzer task, people could hand in the 2 gas analyzers, but it would still say there was only 1 of 2 found in raid. The best way to fix that is to actually go to the launcher, where you actually have the main game launcher. And from there, up the top right corner, you click on your little profile picture and then you go delete the cache, whatever you want to call it, from wherever you're from. So that's pretty much the easiest way to fix a lot of those quest problems. If you do have any further quest problems as you play through, I'd highly recommend trying that. And then there's also like to check the integrity of your files. If that doesn't work, then it's probably a wider problem for a lot more people. And then I'd just say, I don't know, come to the live stream and ask people here, or Reddit or the other places. But generally, they are working on fixing a lot of those stuff. And a lot of people have had a lot of issues at the start, but it's slowly gotten better. And I think the majority of them are a lot better. Now we'll start off with the big one, the Streets expansion. They probably made Streets about a third bigger. It's noticeably larger, and you can get kind of lost in there if you haven't played it before. But it is actually a really substantial, in-depth map. It's by far the most detailed, but with that kind of thing, it comes with one big issue being the FPS. So everyone took a massive hit to their FPS across all maps for some reason, but in particular, Streets was almost unplayable for me even. And a lot of other people who don't have pretty much super NASA computers like I do couldn't play the game, couldn't play Streets of Tarkov at all. They have put a lot of patches in already to make it a lot better, but there is still a lot of issues with the FPS. As they're trying to put more and more scavs in there and all that, it has become quite difficult to run. In the new areas, there is about half a dozen snipers that are actually spawned on top of the roof. So if you have the task where you got to kill snipers on Streets, it's a pretty easy task to get done now. Or if you have one of those tasks for Tarkov Shooter, you can go into Streets and get your sniper kills quite quickly. As for the new scav boss, Kaban, I've tried to farm him in offline mode. I went through the actual area of the Lexos probably half a dozen times, and he only spawned 1 of them. But when he did spawn, there was no actual guards there with him, so he caught me off guard and he killed me. If you are in an online raid and then all of a sudden you're hearing like the AGS going off and the 50 cals, he's most likely there, but at the moment he's only about a 5% spawn chance. There are people out there, I know I saw Anton, he had a video of him killing the boss in offline mode, but you know, if you do want to farm him, offline mode is quite buggy at the moment, trying to get the scav boss in there. But if you want to have some fun, go check it out. I still haven't had the opportunity to kill him and get the belt fed gun, but I am very excited to the day that will happen. As for the new guns, so there is the SVT, which is the semi-automatic Mosin, and then pretty much the AVT, which is the fully automatic Mosin. This gun absolutely decimates. I've pretty much just treated it as my new like budget labs run gun. I just take that with no armor and a backpack, go into labs, and you can kill geared people really easily with this gun, and it's only like the cost of a teapot. That's how cheap it is. So buy a teapot on the flea market for like 40k rubles, barter trade it for AVT, get 2 15-round mags, and just walk around and just destroy fully geared people. It's a lot of fun. I've heard some rumor that in real life, or there was some like wiki post saying that if you shot 200 rounds through it, it would destroy the rifling of the barrel. That's why it's not a common gun in Russia. But it's definitely going to be a very powerful gun moving forward, and I'm devastated every time I hear. I'm not devastated. I'm worried every time I'm in a raid and I hear that gun going off. Now, the AK-12, it's your 545 AK. It's another AK added to the game. When I actually went to Texas and I went to shoot a heap of guns with Brandon Herrera and Clean and Baddie and Eli Double Tap, and I'm going to miss someone, I'm sorry. But I shot a heap of guns with these guys, and the AK-12 was actually one of my favorite guns. I've got a YouTube video up there where I shoot pretty much every single gun in Tarkov. And the actual, when I was shooting the gun, the AK-12 at 4, it was like just bouncing between two little spots, and it was amazing. Very minimal recoil. In Tarkov, the first initial kick is huge, but after that, it's fairly accurate, and it's a lot of fun. But yeah, it's still a 5.45 AK, and it's not as moddable as I thought it would be. Some of the other AKs you can put a lot more mods on. Maybe it'll come in the future. Have to wait and see. Now, the PKM/PKP, I haven't used it myself, but if you do get to kill Kaban, he has a chance of having it spawn there. And that's all I've really got to say about it. I haven't actually had the opportunity to use it. And the sawn-off shotty does spawn. I've got it a few times, and it fits in your pistol slot. So that's where I got it off scavs and inside containers. Now, as for the actual gear side of the game, with armors, there is a fair few new armors added to the game, mostly for class 3 and class 4. I think there is one ceramic class 5 that's been added to the game. That is pretty much it, and that's available at Ragman 3, but everything else is available at Ragman 1 and 2. There's no more added top tier armors added to the game, so they flushed out those earlier levels with a lot more armors and armored rigs, and it's actually really cool. It's very easy and common now to get an armored rig. Now, in no particular order, I'm just going to go through task changes because there was a fair few task changes added. So for Shooter Born in Heaven, previously that was to get headshots from 100 meters away on about 5 maps with any gun. Now Shooter Born in Heaven is to get 5 bolt action kills that are headshots on any map using a bolt action rifle. So you have to use a bolty on every map besides labs, 5 headshots. Doesn't matter what range, and this one is a lot more fun now. I've actually barrel stuffed people with my M700, but then I've also got long range snipes in. So it's actually a lot more fun to do this task, and it's a lot more achievable. Like, you don't have to just be waiting for that person. Or if you kill someone from 98 meters away, it doesn't matter because it's still, as long as it's a headshot, you're good to go. So I actually think this is a massive improvement for Shooter Born in Heaven, and it feels fun. It actually feels fun. And in that being said, Tarkov Shooter Part 8 got the change. I'll correct that. Factory apparently got moved. Chat's on the side saying that factory got moved. All right. Now, Tarkov Shooter Part 8. I'll add this one in here. This one, I actually made a post on Twitter about probably a month or two ago saying that I would prefer Tarkov Shooter Part 8 to be get your 3 kills that are headshots in woods, but it can be over multiple raids as long as you do not die. And that's what the change they did. So now you can do Tarkov Shooter Part 8 as long as it's headshots with a bolty over multiple raids. It's fine as long as you don't die. Because the big issue was it was almost like you had to run around to try and get 3 kills in a raid. So now it's no longer that issue. Now, Test Drive Part 1, this one used to have a Reaper attached to it on an M1A, and you used to have to get kills with that. Now the Reaper's been changed to a different site, making it a lot cheaper and more easy, like more accessible to get the actual quest done. Because getting that barter trade for that Reaper was really punishing and problematic for a lot of people. Hunting Trip, this one is where you have to go kill Sturman. Now you have to get the headshot on Sturman from 75 meters away, but you get to use the full field TAC 30. Previously, it was one of the sites that had like 400 times zoom and was impossible to aim with. So it's a different site now, but it also has to be a headshot on Sturman, not just a body shot. Speaking of sniping, with Psycho Sniper, you need to get level 10 snipers, same as last. But now there is a new quest, a new part added to that quest, where you have to get 5 kills with a bolt action rifle on any map without dying. So it's actually a bit of a challenge because now you have to, try and get 5 kills with a bolty without dying. But I think it's a pretty good change to the Psycho Sniper skill because really in the past, it was just to get, level up your sniper skill and you got there. Now I need to make note for Tarkov Shooter Part 8, that gives you 3 levels in snipers, and Shooter Born in Heaven gives you 5 levels in snipers. So now getting level 10 snipers, you don't even need to reload the Mosin over and over again. None of that needs to happen because you can literally just do Shooter Born in Heaven, Tarkov Shooter Part 8, all done and dusted. Don't have to worry about it. You might have a bit of a sticking point with Tarkov Shooter Part 4 though, needing to get level 3 to unlock Part 5, but you might be able to get Shooter Born in Heaven done in the meantime. Now, the other change was capturing Outpost. This quest used to be the bane of everyone's existence. It used to be a very annoying quest for everyone because no one went to the pier on Shoreline. Well, everyone should be happy now. It's the Stronghold on Customs. It's the FOB on Woods. And now it is the Resort on Shoreline. So get all your gear on, go into the resort, and then go and kill some players in there. Big change, and no one should have any issues trying to get players in the resort because that's pretty much the main place that everyone goes. So much easier for people to get that quest done, but it's still not required for Kappa. So at least you don't have to worry about that. Now, last but not least, farming part 4, you now need to get more CPU fans than before. I think it's 12 or 15 now, whereas in the past it used to be 8. I know I said last but not least on the previous one, but there is actually one other task got changed, which was stylish one, where you do not need to kill killer 100 times anymore. It's only 50 times. So it's actually a big change. It's cut it in half, but 50 times to kill killer to get his tracksuit, and that's a lot of effort, but good luck. And I hope you guys enjoy farming that, because I've done it once and I don't think I'll do it again anytime soon. All right, now moving over to the quality of life changes. There is a lot to cover here, and I'll try and move as quickly as possible. As for the loadout and presets, you can actually just make your own list of kits here, and then you can actually, buy them and have it all like equip and customize. It'll buy all the parts and stuff that you're missing. It's actually a pretty cool thing. I haven't really been using it. I'm kind of going to use it more as my end game. But if you're new to Tarkov and you're trying to figure out how to put a loadout on or where stuff would go, it would give you an option. I kind of feel like they should maybe put an extra few that are like more newbie friendly, instead of calling it like this, say available. Maybe saying that this would be available at a lower level, just so, it would give you an option that, like this is when I'll be able to get it, or when my traders are unlocked at a certain level. Might help newer players, but it's still a good little start. One of the big ones that is actually really good is you can now press something like this, and it will show you all the guns in your stash that you can switch across to. And if you want to, you can put it in list mode. So you can actually just say, oh, I'm looking for my M4. There it is right there. Bam, click it. So that's a really big change for just speeding stuff up. And it's not just your like guns, it's your rigs, your backpacks. You can switch them all around nice and quick, and you don't have to worry about looking through your actual entire stash to try and find stuff. So that is a huge quality of life change and should save a lot of people a lot of time. The next one, which is really painful for me to get used to, but I'm working hard on trying to get used to it, and that is the traders. So now you can switch between the traders at the top here and not have to worry about going back, all right, to Prepper, do my selling on Prepper, going back and across to like, yeah, you go and do my selling. I'm still getting used to it, but you can just go across. One of the cool things that you should take note of here is if you want to sell something, you can literally just, put it in there and then just press spacebar to sell it. But then once you get used to it, you just press spacebar now, and it's so much faster to sell stuff. And yeah, it's much better. See, just sell a Bitcoin, bam, done like that. So good quality of life change, and definitely saves a lot of time. Now, the next one to take note of is how you can now double click to heal or use a consumable. So for example, if I'm on a raid and I want to heal, I can just double click this now instead, and that's why I won't open up inspect. But the buyer beware, or the thing to be careful of in this one is when you're in your stash and like, oh, I just want to just inspect this to Shonka. If you double click it, it will consume it. It will just consume it. So just be careful of that one. I've been caught out a couple of times now, and it is what it is. You just get used to it, and eventually, for the veterans that have all the muscle memory of this game, that's going to be really annoying. But it will probably get a lot more easier as time comes. If I was to change this one feature at all, when you have the examine of an item, I'm going to try and see if I can show you what I want to show. Okay, so for example, instead of double clicking, they could have just put it down as the mouse wheel, which already does action. So for example, press the mouse wheel and it folds and unfolds to stock. That could have actually been the same thing for the use of a consumable. And then that way there wouldn't be any issue with someone double clicking on that. Like that would probably be the only thing I would say that would be an issue for people with this that aren't used to it. Now with the healing in a raid. So a lot of people don't even realize that you can do this yet, but it is actually really cool. So first thing you need to do, there's a new way to be able to heal in raid. So you go to your controls and you set all your quick heals and that to release. What this means is when you release the key, it'll activate the heal. Then when you go into a raid, you hold down the heal button. So I would hold down 5 and then I would scroll my mouse wheel and it will show the parts of the body that I want to heal first. So for example, say you have a bleed on your arm that's blacked out, but your thorax is on 2 health. You can hold down 5, scroll your mouse wheel to the thorax, and it will heal the thorax first instead of defaulting to the heal on the actual bleed. This will help speed up combat and healing in combat a lot more, and making sure you heal the right thing. So I highly recommend changing your hotkeys to release and then starting to get used to this function, because it will save your life multiple times. Next, over to the scavs. When you do a scav run, when you finish that scav run, if you have a full stash, you can just use the quick sell function. It is better to sell to the individual traders, being like Ragman and Therapist first, to make more money. But if you have a full stash, you can just go quick sell, or if you just want to save some time because it's mostly just trash stuff anyway, quick sell, it'll show you how much money you're going to get paid, and you say yes or no, and I actually use it quite a lot. It speeds up my scav runs because I generally just go into factory to run out and just make a little bit of money and farm up my scav rep, which is currently at 3.98. So that's part of the way I level up my scav rep, is to do quick factory runs, and then I can do quick sell when I leave each time. Now moving over to the hideout, there's a few things to cover here. As you can see with the hideout, there is stuff upgrading. Sorry, I've got stuff upgrading, but stuff crafting. When something is crafting now, it will show you that green bar of like how far up it is compared to when something is upgrading. Makes it a little bit easier to see. And then the other thing that's been upgraded is, or new to the hideout, is the weapon stand. I am currently filling mine with 5.7s. This is level 3, so this is how much extra space you get. If you want to put some guns on it, this is pretty much how it looks. So I think you just hold control. Yeah, you can just control it, and it'll chuck some guns in there, and it doesn't consume your actual stash space. So that's kind of how it works. You can actually walk into the hideout and you can actually look at all those guns up on the weapon rack. So like I said, I'm filling mine up with 5.7s for a bit of fun, but it's another way you can store a heap of stuff. The only negative I've got for this one is if you want to now equip those guns, they are not available on the actual weapon rack, which is kind of frustrating, but teething, I guess. But it is a cool way just to leave some of your stuff on display. Maybe you put some of your favorite guns up there. But yeah, I'm just doing it for 5.7s for fun. All right, moving back over to other things that have been changed. So the painkiller effect is probably a contentious one, at least. A lot of people complaining about how annoying it is and painful it is. One thing I would probably take note is, it's the one positive that has definitely come out of this is I don't think people are pre-medding as much anymore. So when someone's just about to get into a fight or spawns into a raid, a very common thing for the sweatier players was to spawn into a raid and pop a painkiller and then run through the raid already pre-medded throughout the entirety of the raid. And they would just keep popping it every 5 minutes to prevent someone from, hitting them in the leg and then being stuck without being able to run. So now the painkiller effect is definitely annoying. It is too much, I think. I think it needs to be dialed back a fair bit, because it almost feels like you can only see a small portion of the screen clearly and everything else is almost double vision. So something like half of that would probably be better. But yeah, I'm not sure if that is their final intention of it, but it is very painful to use a painkiller now. But I do like the fact that a lot of people stop pre-medding for entirety of raids. So I'm happy with that. With the scav AI changes, I saw the funniest thing on Reddit today. There was a guy who had lost his bananas over it. He goes, oh, this scav AI changes would be cool. So there's been a few things happening. One, scavs now spawn in groups. So you'll be in a raid and a scav will, there'll be a group of 3 to 5 scavs spawn in one hit right next to each other, and then they'll swarm you. It's really, really crazy when it happens, and it's almost like an event. On top of that, scavs now move very aggressively towards combat. If there's someone fighting, they'll actually move, so you actually get overwhelmed better, which I think is a great change. And also now, if you die to a scav will start looting you, even if it's AI. So I saw a really funny Reddit thread today where someone had killed a player and he was nearly dead, and he was healing up, and in the process of healing a player, healing himself, an AI scav that was nearby just walked straight up and started taking all the guns and all the gear off the actual player before the guy could finish healing. And he was really frustrated by it. I thought it was hilarious. I think it's great. It means that you really could have good gear on any scav out there. And if there's a dead player, they've probably been looted by scavs as well. So you need to kill every scav you see. The biggest issue I see with this at the moment is they loot players and then you don't get your insurance back. So it might not be worth taking insurance in now if you're not a squad, because I'm pretty much at the point now where I don't insure too much when I'm going in solo, because of that fact that if you die to a player, they're going to take out your loot. You die to a scav, they're going to take out your loot. The one thing I had in the past was, or if I die to a raider or a rogue or a scav on a map, generally I'll die somewhere that my body won't be found, and then I'll get my gear back. Now it's even they're going to take my gear, the players are going to take my gear. I guess I won't really insure up unless I'm a squad. Now I'm still in the process of leveling up my my actual scav rep. Like I said, I'm at 3.98, but I'm trying to get to the point where I can actually walk up to scavs and give them the command to start giving me gear. But apparently, if you get your rep up high enough, you're going to be able to walk up to AI scavs and tell them to give them your gear, or for them to give you their gear, and you'll be able to take the gear off them. So I'm excited to see how that works, and I'm probably not too far away from being able to get to do that. Speaking of loot, dynamic loot has changed the game a fair bit when it comes to loot runs and making money. You can pretty much make money anywhere in the game at the moment. There is a bit of a teething issue with this. There's a lot of boxes that are spawning in that are empty, and I'm fairly confident I'm the first one to get to them. But yeah, so there are boxes that are empty. The only theory I have about this one is maybe AI scavs are walking up to them and looting them before you even get there. But yeah, there are boxes and stuff that are being looted and or are empty. But now, where there was a crate in the past, there could be multiple or there could be less. One major thing I saw that has a massive change, I can't believe I haven't seen anyone talking about it yet, is those technical supply crates or the ration supply crates and that. The bunkers in reserve, there is so many more, and there are more across all the maps as well. So if you got the bunker keys on reserve, go crazy. I'm not even exaggerating. There's about 10 more supply crates down there. There's probably about 10 medical ones. So if you want to farm medical supplies, down there is the place to go. But yeah, even like the fob on woods and stuff like that. I just saw someone writing a message saying that. There's a lot of places that you have extra supply crates. Definitely worth doing. My second last point was they added the quick switch to the game, which is where you can quickly double tap your pistol slot and it will change over to your pistol. I haven't really used this much in combat. I've only used it just a bit of a fun thing, but yeah, it's something that was added. I think I worry sometimes that they put so much time into these little things. Like, it does add really fine details to the game, but it's just like, yeah, it was added. Now, last but not least, I need to touch on this because if I don't, people are like, why don't you ever speak about the cheaters? So I was playing the game today, and as I was playing the game, I got this message, which is your recent reports from the raids on these maps, plus the 26 others, help identify the cheaters. These players have been banned. So, and this message is also from this wipe. So 37 of my deaths have been from cheaters that are being banned now. I do need to make a few statements based around this. So firstly, one, I play on OCE nearly entirely. I play on a couple of other servers in Asia, but generally the OCE server, and I've played on European servers when I lived in Europe. I played on American servers as well. The OCE server is atrocious for cheaters, but I kind of like, it's like my home, you know, I just want to play in my home. So it's pretty bad. And I even before I even went to the map Shoreline, I said Shoreline's my worst map because it's cheater heaven, and it's because they're farming the red and the blue key card there. They're just constantly spamming the resort, trying to find those lab cards, and they also get lead X's and other keys, like key loot that spawns in there. It's very valuable on Shoreline, particularly if you know where the loot is from cheats. So yeah, Shoreline, Labs, and Lighthouse are generally the worst places for cheaters. And as you can see here, there's 37 that have been banned. Now, this was probably about, well, this is before today's session. So I was on about 67 deaths when that happened. So probably about 30 of my deaths weren't cheaters, and that's unless the reports, I don't know. What I'm just saying is there are cheaters out there, particularly the worst on OCE. I know that for a fact, but at the same time, they are banning them. That's the great thing. I saw this message. I was shocked, but at the same time, I was very excited at the fact that 37 people have been banned that were cheating. That's how it comes across to me. So Shoreline, Labs, and last but not least, Lighthouse are the worst maps for it. And it is what it is. Anyway, that is pretty much it for my rundown. It was quite a long, in-depth rundown of everything, my opinions and thoughts and all that stuff. But hopefully this video was informative to you and you got something out of it. I think as a whole, this patch is great. It's not very content depth. There's not a lot of new content added to this patch, which is fine because that's kind of what I expected. They said they were going to focus on quality of life stuff, add an expansion to Lighthouse, and the patch at the end of the year is going to be the bigger one. But it is what it is, you know. Like I'm at this point now with Tarkov is I just enjoy the game because it's my favorite game. People are asking me why I'm so excited to play the game still, and that is like I just took 4 months off traveling Europe. You know, like I'm excited to keep playing video games for a long time on content creation. But that's me. But yeah, favorite game, and let's just hope that they keep on top of banning cheaters and we can get all these bugs fixed and people can enjoy the game for what it is. In saying that, I have started the raid series again and the hardcore series. So by the time this video goes out, it'll be very close to the hardcore series launching, and the raid series will probably be at episode 5 or 4. It'll be around episode 4. So if you enjoy Escape from Tarkov and you want to learn or play it vicariously through me, the raid series is there for you. As for the hardcore series, that will start on Saturday. And the intro for the hardcore series is amazing. Hardcore is a self-imposed rule set where I make it really punishing for myself by I can't buy from traders and I have to find everything in raid with the objective of getting to max traders. So raid series goes out Monday to Friday. Hardcore series gogoes out every day. And I'm doing a subathon on Twitch, which is why everyone's in chat going mental. because they're all saying hello to YouTube, and I'm filming this because I'm still live. And there's 112 hours left on my subathon, unless people keep subbing. So if you've got a Twitch Prime sub, you want to help support the subathon, Primes are the best way of doing it. And I'm giving away computers built by Stints every second day. We've given away 3, which these are the winners so far. And we'll be drawing another one probably within hours of this video going live. So much love. Appreciate the followers and the subs and the likes and the comments. It really does help out, and I'm back in full swing. All my engines running, and I'm excited to make a heap of content this wipe. So lastly, guys, I'll see you next time.